My name is Amelia Parker, and if anyone told me that my life would become a battlefield where every breath would be a fight for survival, I would have laughed. But here I am, telling you a story not of my strength, but of the love I carried for my daughter, Emma. Love so pure that it burned brighter than my own existence. I was only 19 when I met Daniel Carter. He was charming, the kind of man who could walk into a room and make everyone notice him. I was young, naive, and desperate to escape my strict parents' house. So, when he told me I was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen, I believed him. For a while, life felt like a dream. We married quickly, and I imagined we would build a home filled with laughter, warmth, and children who would run freely in the garden. But dreams are fragile, and mine shattered too soon. Daniel changed after our wedding. He was not the gentle man who once held my hand under the stars. He became controlling, angry, and his love was a storm that destroyed more than it ever nurtured. I stayed because I thought love meant patience, sacrifice, and endurance. And then Emma was born. When I held her for the first time, I knew God had given me a reason to keep going. She was so tiny, with Daniel's dark hair but my blue eyes, and when she wrapped her little fingers around mine, I silently promised her, no matter what, I will protect you. Even if it costs me everything. Emma grew up in a house where silence was safer than laughter. Daniel's temper was unpredictable. Some days he would ignore us, sinking into his bottle of whiskey. Other days, he would slam doors, throw dishes, and call me names that cut deeper than any knife. I shielded Emma as best as I could. I made up excuses for her father, saying he was tired from work or not feeling well. I didn't want her to see the monster he was becoming. But children are sharper than we think. One night, when she was 6, she crawled into my bed and whispered, "Mama, why does Daddy hate us?" My heart broke. I hugged her tightly and said, "No, sweetheart, Daddy doesn't hate you. He's just lost. But you will never be lost. I will always find you." Emma nodded, but her eyes, those bright blue eyes, were already filled with sadness far beyond her years. I knew education would be Emma's escape. If she could study, go to college, and build a life of her own, she would never have to depend on a man like Daniel. She would never be trapped the way I was. But Daniel saw education as a waste. He wanted Emma to grow up, get married early, and bring money to the family. I fought with him every year when it was time to pay for her school fees. Sometimes I worked secretly as a cleaner in the neighborhood to gather the money. I will never forget the day when Emma was 10. Daniel had just lost his job and was angrier than usual. He stormed into the kitchen while I was preparing dinner. "We're pulling Emma out of school," he said. "It's a waste of money. Girls don't need books, they need husbands." I stood frozen, knife in my hand, vegetables half chopped. "No, Daniel," I said firmly, surprising even myself. "She will stay in school." He slapped me so hard that I fell to the ground. My cheek burned, but the fire inside me burned hotter. "She will study," I whispered through the pain. "Even if I have to die for it." Emma was watching from the doorway, tears streaming down her little face. That night, she curled into my arms and said, "Mama, I'll study so hard. I'll make you proud." I kissed her forehead. You already do, my darling. Every single day. Life grew harder, but I wasn't alone. Our neighbor, Mrs. Williams, was a widow in her 60s with a gentle smile and a kind heart. She had seen enough of Daniel's rage to know the truth, and one day she pulled me aside. "You're stronger than you think, Amelia," she said. "And Emma is brighter than the sun. Don't let him dim her light." Sometimes she would slip me money to cover Emma's books or uniforms. Other times, she would keep Emma at her house when Daniel's anger was too dangerous. She became like family, and Emma loved her dearly. By the time Emma turned 15, she was excelling in school. She loved literature and dreamed of becoming a lawyer. She wanted to fight for women like me, women who were silenced, abused, and trapped. But Daniel's shadow loomed larger. He had begun drinking more heavily and gambling. Money disappeared faster than I could earn it. Debts piled up. One night, he staggered home and announced, "I've found a solution. There's a man who wants to marry Emma. He's older, but he's rich. He'll pay us well." I felt the blood drain from my body. "She's a child," I snapped. "You will not sell our daughter." He grabbed me by the arm so tightly that bruises bloomed the next morning. "You don't get to decide, Amelia. I'm her father. She's mine to give." That night, while Emma slept, I sat by her bed and cried silently. She looked so peaceful, her chest rising and falling gently. I knew I couldn't let Daniel destroy her. I began saving every coin I could. I cleaned more houses, worked longer hours, skipped meals so Emma could eat. Mrs. Williams helped when she could. Slowly, I built a small hidden fund, money for Emma's college application, money for her future. But secrets are hard to keep. Daniel grew suspicious. One night he searched the house and found the little tin box where I had hidden the money under the floorboard. "What is this?" he shouted, waving the box in my face. My heart stopped. "It's for Emma's future," I said, my voice trembling. "Please, don't take it." He sneered. "Her future is marriage, not school." And before my eyes, he threw the money into the fireplace. I screamed, trying to save it, but the flames devoured it instantly. Years of sacrifice turned to ashes. Emma ran into the room, horrified. I pulled her close and whispered, "Don't cry. We'll find another way." But inside, I was breaking. Emma's teacher, Mr. Andrew Collins, saw her potential. One afternoon, he called me after school. "Mrs. Parker, Emma is brilliant," he said. "She could win a scholarship if she applies. It could cover her entire education." My eyes filled with tears. "But Daniel will never allow it." Mr. Collins looked at me, his voice steady. "Then you have to fight for her. Because if Emma doesn't get out now, she may never escape." That night, I held Emma's hands and told her about the scholarship. Her eyes lit up with hope I hadn't seen in years. "Mama, do you think I can do it?" I smiled through tears. "Emma, you can do anything. And I will fight beside you." Things reached a breaking point when Emma turned 17. Daniel's debts grew worse, and he became desperate. One evening, he returned home with a stranger, a man at least 40 years old, dressed in an expensive suit. "This is Mr. Thompson," Daniel announced. "He wants to marry Emma." Emma froze, her face pale. I felt like the ground had been pulled from beneath me. "No!" I shouted. "She is not for sale." Daniel's face twisted with rage. "Shut up, Amelia. This is her chance. Our chance." I stepped in front of Emma, shielding her. "Over my dead body." Mr. Thompson smirked, muttering something under his breath before leaving. Daniel turned on me, his fists clenched. That night was the worst beating I had ever endured. But I didn't regret it. I would take every blow if it meant Emma was safe. Lying bruised and broken, I looked at Emma, who was sobbing beside me. "Mama, why do you let him hurt you?" she cried. I touched her cheek softly. "Because, my darling, every pain I take is one less pain you have to carry. And I promised you, remember, I will save your future. No matter what." Emma hugged me tightly, her tears soaking my blouse. In that moment, I knew that my life had only one purpose left: to keep her safe and free, even if it meant sacrificing everything. I woke up one morning to the sound of Emma coughing. She had been up late the previous night, reading books borrowed from her teacher. Her exams were close, and she was working harder than ever. As I made her tea, I looked at her tired but determined face. I felt pride swelling in my chest. She's so much stronger than me, I thought. Maybe she's the one who will finally break this chain. But Daniel's shadow never left us. One evening, Daniel stumbled into the house, drunk as usual. But this time, his eyes burned with a new kind of fury. "I've made my decision," he slurred. "Emma will marry Mr. Thompson after her exams. I've already taken advance money." Emma dropped the plate she was holding. It shattered on the floor. "No!" she cried. "I'm not marrying him." Daniel's hand shot out, ready to strike her, but I stepped between them. His palm landed on my cheek instead, the sting spreading like fire. "You will not touch her!" I screamed. My voice echoed in the small living room. He glared at me with venom. "If you try to stop me again, Amelia, I swear you'll regret it." But I wasn't afraid anymore. My fear had been replaced with something stronger: my desperation to protect Emma. Emma's chance finally arrived. Mr. Collins had helped her register for a scholarship exam at a university in the city. If she passed, she would not only get admission but also financial aid. On the morning of the exam, I walked her to the bus stop, clutching her hand like I did when she was a child. "Mama, what if I fail?" she whispered. I shook my head. "You won T. And even if you did, I would still be proud of you. But today, Emma, you will win. I can feel it." She hugged me before boarding the bus. I stood there long after it drove away, praying with every beat of my heart. When she returned that evening, her eyes were shining. "Mama, the test went so well." "I know I did great." We laughed and cried together, clinging to hope. For the first time in years, I saw a light at the end of our dark tunnel. But Daniel found out. A week later, he stormed into the kitchen, waving a letter in his hand. My blood ran cold. It was the scholarship notification. She applied for a university, he roared. Behind my back. I froze. Emma rushed forward. Papa, please. It's my dream. Just let me study. His face twisted in rage. He tore the letter in half. Emma gasped as the pieces fluttered to the floor. You will marry Thompson, and that's final. He shouted. Emma broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. I pulled her into my arms, glaring at Daniel. You can destroy paper, but you can't destroy her future. Not while I'm alive. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Then maybe that's the problem, Amelia. You being alive. His words pierced me like a blade. For the first time, I realized he might actually kill me. That night, I went to Mrs. Williams, trembling with fear. She held my hands tightly. Amelia, you must take Emma and leave, she whispered. Before it's too late. But where would we go? I asked. I have no money, no family who will take us in. You don't need much, she said firmly. Emma just needs safety and the chance to study. That's all that matters. Her words stayed with me all night. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking of ways to save Emma. Days later, a miracle arrived. A new letter came, this time directly to Mr. Collins. He secretly brought it to me. Amelia, he said, smiling, Emma won the scholarship. Full tuition, housing, everything. She just needs to get to the city. Tears streamed down my face. Thank you, Mr. Collins. You've saved her. But deep inside, I knew Daniel would never allow it. And I knew then what I had to do. That night, Daniel came home drunk again. He shouted, cursed, and ranted about debts. I waited until he passed out on the couch, then crept into Emma's room. She was asleep, clutching her worn-out notebook to her chest. I knelt beside her and brushed her hair away from her face. My baby, I whispered, my voice breaking. Tomorrow you will leave. You will go to that university and never look back. Don't cry for me. Just live. Live the life I couldn't. I left a letter in her bag, explaining everything. I packed her clothes quietly, added the scholarship letter, and slipped a small locket of mine into her pocket. When dawn came, I told her we were visiting Mrs. Williams. But instead, I led her to the bus stop. Go, Emma, I urged. Mr. Collins will meet you at the station. You're free now. Her eyes filled with panic. But Mama, what about you? Come with me. I shook my head, tears streaming down my cheeks. If I leave, Daniel will find us both. But if I stay, he'll think I forced you to go, and his anger will stay with me. You'll be safe. She clung to me desperately. Mama, no. I can't leave you. I cupped her face. Emma, I've lived my life. Now it's your turn. Go, before it's too late. The bus doors closed as she sobbed, her hand pressed against the glass. I stood there, waving through tears, until the bus disappeared down the road. When I returned home, Daniel was waiting. His face was twisted with rage. Where is she? He demanded. She's gone, I said quietly. She's free. His roar shook the walls. He lunged at me, his fists raised. But I didn't fight back this time. I let the blows land. Each strike brought me closer to darkness, but also closer to peace. As I collapsed to the floor, blood filling my mouth, I whispered one final prayer: God, keep Emma safe. Let her dreams live, even if I cannot. And then, silence. Years later, Emma became a successful lawyer, just as she had dreamed. She fought for women trapped in abusive marriages, saving lives just like her mother had saved hers. Every time she stood in court, she wore the small locket I had given her, the only reminder of the mother who sacrificed everything so her daughter's future could shine. She never stopped loving me. And though my body was gone, my promise lived forever. Because I saved my daughter's future. Even if it cost me my own. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.